Today?
Good, doing well. How about you, Antonio?
I am great. I am living in the tropical climate where it's just hot and rain, and that's about it. No storm, no, snow, nothing like that. Just two seasons, rainy season and dry season. So I'm awesome.
Great, awesome.
Yes. Oh, you stick there for a minute. The computer stick for a minute. Yes. So, our topic is using LinkedIn to unlock opportunities. So, Salina, you being an individual who was working at LinkedIn, having the insights that the normal LinkedIn user may not have. Share a bit of light as in terms of the opportunities that LinkedIn have for professionals out there who do not realize the effectiveness and the efficiency of LinkedIn platform.
Yeah, so if any of you are familiar with me, I brand myself as LinkedIn Girls, and I love basically talking about statistic here on LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn has been a really powerhouse platform for businesses, for entrepreneur, for job seeker, but just for people to know that there's only like last year, I think it's only 1% of LinkedIn members are creating content on a weekly basis. But
Wow.
this year, with statistic being updated, there's only 5%, which is like a huge increase on the platform. But it's still 5% is not a lot compared with other platforms that you see on TikTok or see on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you can name it. So I think there's like a huge potential for anybody like businesses or job seeker to talk about themselves, market about themselves, sell themselves, and reach out to tap into bigger audience, especially business decision makers. So I think this is one of the bigger statistic or nuggets for people to consider. And as well, if you're in the B2B business, there's 49% of LinkedIn members have a household income of more than 75K US dollars, which is really high in compare with other platforms. So if you're looking into landing high ticket clients on LinkedIn, this is a really good place to be. Yeah, so I think those two, it's already like solid statistic to show that how powerful this platform is.
That is some great statistics, I must say. And do you think how is only 1% of members putting out content on LinkedIn? Is it that they know what content to put out? Because some people have the bad interpretation that LinkedIn, yes, is professional, but they can't share their everyday life story, as they go to work and what they encounter and these sorts of things on LinkedIn. They feel that LinkedIn is so professional for them that they cannot provide that necessary content on a, let's say, 3 times or 4 times for a weekly basis, but on um, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok they could provide daily content because it's like they could just feel comfortable because you're just being that social person that you are.
Yeah, so great aspect that you sort of just raise out, right, Antonio? Like when it comes
Thanks.
to content creation, I think it's really tough when people think LinkedIn as a professional platform, but it has actually changed quite a lot throughout the years. As you can see on the newsletters, people, vulnerably sharing their stories, sharing
Hmm.
about, how they lose their job and how they pivot into different industry, as well as how people share their expertise despite, COVID-19 or other sort of like challenges that they have faced throughout career. So I would say the platform had changes a lot, and I see that there's tons of a huge amount of content that are related to people's stories, as well as like people are drawn to personal stories a lot, especially on LinkedIn. So I wouldn't say as a professional, you are a human being as well, right? You have
Yeah.
um, your family, you have your work. There shouldn't be a differentiation between the two because you work to provide for your family, you have your loving family, and you enjoy doing your work. So it should be basically this one big thing that you can share with your audience. So yeah, so to your point, I don't think it needs to differentiate professional content to sort of like personal content.
Yes, and the vulnerability on the LinkedIn platform, we see it with few women, essentially. Most men don't want to be vulnerable, but it's great to be empathetic, share your life story, despite that it might be something that is challenging that you experience in life. Nothing is wrong with sharing that because you want to let people know that you are not just a robot. You want to let people know that, you went through hardship just like them and you want to be empathetic going forward. Because when we watch all these celebrities, right? For example, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they share their life story where they went through hardship, how they started the journey from the beginning to the end. And that now makes us buy into them more, so we actually like them as a player, but we also buy into their story and we try to, emulate their life story to try to develop ourselves or to be the best version of ourselves. So they come like our role model, not just in the basketball arena, but where they started to where it is that they are, at that point in time in their career.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say hi to your amazing audience that just joined us. Ingor, I hope I pronounced your name right. I like that you're with Lion, which is actually a long, long time ago as an active LinkedIn user. That's why you have the LION. So I'm very grateful that you can join us. And Willie, good to see you. Kenneth, great to see you as well. And so, yeah, amazing to see you guys.
Yes, awesome. It's always great, to come on LinkedIn Live and just, share your experience. Just don't be selfish, be selfless. And it's all about creating that value because the more value you create is the better that, your standards are growth in your field and people watch you as, all right, you are not just that person who share content, but we see the true side of you. We see that you are showing up, and giving the audience, what it is that they would like to hear, that message, that great content to develop themselves because everybody wants to be developed professionally. We all on this platform, to earn a living, to develop ourselves, to network, which is our net worth, So all these things we want to correlate and, become the best that we can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that you call like your net worth is your net worth
For
100%.
sure.
Like by the end of the day, like I know you, Antonio, and we know each other. And now we got like new friends joining us on our live stream, our, one big LinkedIn family. And there is
Correct.
tons of things that we can learn from each other when it comes to sort of like your industry. Like I might know a lot about LinkedIn branding, personal branding,
Hmm.
but I might not know a lot about, I don't know, cryptocurrency, finance services, healthcare. And by having this conversation or like you said, bring value to each other through your content, I will be able to learn more about different space.
So true. And in terms of, LinkedIn, what is the new algorithm looking like? Because like I heard some people are saying that they find that the engagements on their posts is going down. So I don't know if the LinkedIn algorithm changed recently or something, or it's just that they're not providing the content that their audience may like. So, maybe you could clarify that to the audience.
Yeah, so I think in terms of LinkedIn aggro, I always talk about this as a reverse cycle, right? Like you create content because you want to be hitting your goals. And obviously, learning about LinkedIn algorithm is really important, but shouldn't be your priorities because when you stuck at following the trend, following on what LinkedIn is changing, your content would never be great because you're obviously following the wrong suits. This is
Yeah.
what I usually tell with my clients. It's important to know. That's why I host LinkedIn Live to talk about different LinkedIn algorithm changes. But it's more importantly to understand who you serve and what you're trying to put out there day by day. So, for
Hmm.
example, I have the worst LinkedIn post performance today, and I know exactly why. But needly to say, I want to have this forward because A, I want to test it out. B, I want to, see how it received with the external link. So one of the things that not even the LinkedIn agro change, but it has been a long time, and other social media platforms do the same as well, which is LinkedIn external URL. YouTube don't like it, Facebook don't like it, Instagram don't like it, TikTok don't like it. None of the
Yeah.
platform like it, right? When you're trying to redirect your user to a third-party platform, unless they're affiliate, right? Like Facebook to Instagram and Instagram to Facebook, because obviously they are under the same umbrella of Meta
Hmm.
now, Facebook, right? So that's totally fine, but not LinkedIn, right? So when you're trying to drive the members of the platform, for example, you check out my LinkedIn profile, my LinkedIn latest content today, I add an external link, which is to my Apple podcast. And I want to do it because I want to promote my podcast, but I know for a fact that it's going to discourage my reach of my post. And that's just a known fact. A couple of solutions you can go about it. You can, like what I do, put it in the same post. It helps you in terms of people clicking in my link, and I actually use URL to track it, so it's really helpful for me. And although it will drive my reach lower, but if you do not want that to happen, what you can do is actually put it in your comments, and
Yeah.
don't do it in the first comments, do it on the second comments, because LinkedIn have already sort of like flat that out. When you have like first comment, the person that comment first, it's basically again punish you, because they're picking up signals from content creators that is so smart, that instead of putting the external links on the post itself, it puts in the comments, right? So that is some of the ways that you can do, which is the second comment. The other third solution you could do is basically put your post up like I do without the external links. And after 2 hours of posting, you can edit it. And when you do this
Okay.
action, it wouldn't change your reach, which is good. But put in mind that the first or 2 hours is the most eyeballs of your post, right? You will
Hmm.
have a lot of activity. For example, Antonio, you always support me on my posts. I'm also rooting on
For
your
sure.
posts. That is some of the things that you will get from your audience, right? So the first 2 hours is crucial. And when you do the third solution, you might lose out people that wanted to know, hey, where's the link, Salina? I want to go and check out your LinkedIn Gal podcast, but I can't find it, right? So these are the things that you will be missing out. So at the end, I still put my external links on my
Hmm.
post, despite that I know it's going to be discouraged. But ultimately, back to what I say earlier, it's the value of your post, right? Think beyond the algorithm. Think about who you're serving. Is your post helpful? And if these are all the things that taking all the box, your content is going to be great on LinkedIn no matter what.
So true. And I love the fact that you clarify where it is the editing of the post, because I always thought, Selena, that you cannot edit the post at all, but I didn't realize that it's after 2 hours that you could edit the post and the algorithm wouldn't affect your post engagement. So that clarification was great in terms of me, and I show the audience also, because when I see that little edited, and it feels a type of way, because I say, like, the engagement wouldn't be as high as from before, but now I know that after 2 hours I can edit. So that clarification is great. And yes, a lot of people tend to put the link in their post, which is not good, because basically LinkedIn wants you to stay on their platform. So if you put in a link on your post and that is going to other platform, LinkedIn wouldn't want that. So they will have your engagements low. So that is something that people have to really take in consideration when it is that they provide in their content. And one thing I would like to say too is that in terms of your content, basically serve your audience. Don't try to provide content for your benefit. Remember, you on this platform not for you, but to serve your audience in your specific niche market. So always think what your audience would like. If it is you don't know what content to provide, run a poll and see, what topics that people tend to vote more on. And when it is that you realize, all right, this content get the most vote, this topic, get the most vote, then now well, all right, this will be content that you will provide. So in that way, now you will always be on top of mind in terms of your audience, and you will be serving them rather you trying to serve yourself.
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. So Salina, in terms of if anybody want to reach out to you, because one thing I realize is that being on LinkedIn platform is awesome, but you have to be on the other platforms because it have customers who, or it have, your audience who will be on LinkedIn, right? And it have people who might be on Instagram and Facebook, and that is, people that you might not be able to engage with because you on just one platform. So I would advise everybody, yes, you might go on the LinkedIn platform and you might spend most of your time there, but try to have other platform because it have your prospects in different platforms that you can prospect to. So never try to limit yourself, because you don't want to be a fish in an aquarium and you just right there. You want to be a fish in an ocean. So if it is you don't have the necessary content for the different platforms, think about it, repurpose your content. So like you have content on LinkedIn, it's a video content, you could repurpose that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Basically, that's what I does, and it saves me because that one content I have for the day, I just utilize all the other platforms, because you have prospects on all these platforms, and they may not be necessarily always on LinkedIn, but they might be on Instagram. Some of them might not be necessarily always on Instagram, but they're on Facebook, and vice versa with other platforms.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something that people could do in terms of repurposing content. I like to call this like one content have 8 lives, like
Hmm.
cats have 99 lives. And similarly to content, if you can basically repurpose them with multiple different channels, is basically you. But ultimately, going back to the channels that serve you most, right? Where's your audience? Like, for example,
Yeah.
my audience are majority of it are on LinkedIn. They are B2B when it comes to corporate workshop, or they are B2C when it comes to entrepreneurs that looking into branching out their business and wanted to learn how to market and sell themselves better on LinkedIn. So my audience majority of are on LinkedIn. So really invest time on the platform that serve you most and serve you the best. And I think you're golden.
So true. And someone says here, but I see LinkedIn user, so I will just highlight it. You can also edit in the link to the other post containing the external link. That way, the link in the main post is internal to LinkedIn. What you have to say about that, Salina?
I'm not really sure I get this right though. Maybe you can elaborate more, but yeah, that would be great if you can elaborate more.
Okay,
Um,
let me
is
try
it-
to understand it. You
yeah,
can also edit in the link.
yeah, but good to see you
Um,
and Daniel.
yes, Matthew here. Excellent to be here, Antonio. Yes, Matthew, Daniel,
Yeah,
Paul,
peekaboo.
tuning in from MD USA Pikibu. But I'm not too sure, Selena, what this person is trying to say here. You can also edit in the link to the other post containing the external link, the way the
Me
link
too.
in the main
So if
post is. So I'm not too sure. So
I can
we
go
will.
back to your LinkedIn and check who that is, but just to, yeah, if you can clarify that
Mhm.
as a comment or question,
Yes.
feel free, then we'll happy to answer it and help you further, or you have a great solution in terms of how to add external links. We'd love to hear from you too.
Okay. Awesome. Um, Sean said here, you mentioned putting a link in a comment. Take the comment link and insert that in the main post.
Okay. But then it fit the purpose of it,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Like then, I mean, the way how you wanted it is to add external links. For example, it could be on your website, or for example, my today ones is linking to my podcast, right? And that's external ones outside LinkedIn. And if so, then I would be using my comment to comment adding this external link or on my original post. So I don't really understand inserting that in the main post with taking that comment links. Then it will just basically looping back to the comment if someone is already seeing your post, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Wonder if I'm mistaken.
Yes,
John.
because it's basically what you said. If it is that you take the link in the content itself and put it in the comment section, well, then after the algorithm will send the content to more people in your network. But if it is you take a link in the comment section and put it in the body of the post, well, then after you're limiting the engagement that you will get through your post. So you don't want that because it's all about having the algorithm to send through the different tier levels, because they have different tier levels to be a first connection, second connection, third connection, and so forth. So that is something that you don't want to do at all.
Yeah. So okay, John.
Okay,
Yeah, John.
Johnson explained it much better. Yeah, so that is understood there. And, let's go forward here now. Selena, in terms of LinkedIn, since you started with LinkedIn, not as in terms of working for LinkedIn, but started on the platform to now, what was some of the challenges? Because what I'm realizing with a lot of LinkedIn users is that they jump on the platform and they think it's Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and it's not like that. You have to put in the work in LinkedIn to see the benefits, and you have to understand the platform. So you might be on the platform today, you wouldn't see results the next week or the second week. It may take 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year, because it's not an easy platform. I always say that LinkedIn is something like you're going to learn a course, because it's not just a week or 2 weeks. Like you could go on TikTok today and next 2 weeks you could have 5,000 followers, but not LinkedIn. LinkedIn is something totally different. So, how was your experience? Was from the start to now, and what would you tell individuals who jump on LinkedIn and not seeing the results that they want and getting frustrated and thinking that, hey, what, LinkedIn is not for me. I look him to come out of this platform.
Yeah, I like this challenge because I get this all the time from my clients, and in fact, tons of clients decide to work with me because of that. I think patient is definitely your middle name when it comes to growing social media, no matter what platform. Right, to your point. I try to grow my TikTok last week as well. It's obviously easy to get discouraged when you start a new platform. It's so easy because you
Yeah.
haven't been branding yourself, you haven't started to figure out how the platform works, and you don't know what content works for that specific audience that you have. Obviously, my audience on TikTok, my audience on Instagram, my audience on Facebook are so different from my audience on LinkedIn.
So true.
So sometimes it doesn't really work both ways, despite digital marketing so well. So I think this is the first thing needs to be established as a concept. But what I will be actually going back to when clients or audience coming back to me like about this is putting expectations in terms of like time frame, right? Like they need to understand that in 3 months or even 6 months you will getting your ROI back when it happens, and you need to put in the work. And if preliminary someone understand that about LinkedIn, it will be so much easier. And they also need to buy in the value of LinkedIn, right? The
Hmm.
people that you are reaching out on LinkedIn so different from that people that you're reaching out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. People are genuinely here for doing business. People are C-suite. People are executive. People are basically business decision maker are ready to jump next time on putting the credit card out or like signing a contract with you because they are here to finding a business solution to take care of their business. So I think the mindset intent are so different. I think that needs to be setting expectation here. And imagine I talk about the high ticket audience part earlier with you, right, Antonio? And you need
Yeah.
to think about when you close a deal on LinkedIn versus the closing deal on Facebook are so different as well. In your coaching service, I'm just like putting an example out there. It's roughly around $2,000 a pop, right? A pop of
Hmm.
3 months as a duration, 2,000 US dollars. You might get a better chance to close more deal on LinkedIn versus on Facebook or other social media platform. I'm not saying that other social media platform cannot, but I'm just generally saying people are having a different intent mindset and the
Yeah.
household income perspective, right? So when you close maybe 3 or 5 deals per month on LinkedIn with $2,000 as a set deal by average, rather than your Facebook or Instagram where you got roughly around 300 US dollars per sales deal. That's a huge difference. So you need to look at it in a very long term basis rather than short.
Hmm.
So I think this will be what I will be putting into perspective in terms of expectation. But last but not least is really going back to your business, right? If your business don't really have a solid niche, you're trying to tell people about who you are, but not being very clear about it. You serve so many people in one glance. It's never
Hmm.
going to work, right? And who you're trying to serve from content and from your profile perspective, from how you're nurturing them. Your nurturing cycles also needs to be taken into account as well. So I think all these boils down to whether you have a very clear niche or a very clear value proposition of your brand.
Yeah.
And that's tick, 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 then it's really easy to speak for yourself.
And I read an article recently that they said that, the sending of email is not beneficial anymore in terms of researchers research the data analytics. They said that email is not working. So they said the new email is in mail, because when you could in mail someone on LinkedIn, and then you could send um, a voice note afterwards, that now could seal the deal in terms of the information being sent to the target, a prospect, basically. So bypassing email and using your in-mail and then following up the in-mail with a voice message, you could more reach your target audience, or your prospect, should I say. And that is something that, researchers saying that that is the route to take now, because you have all your professional connections on the LinkedIn platform. So why not utilize this new feature, rather than utilizing the old email? Because a lot of people get a lot of emails. Sometimes it's emails that are spam emails, and you just tend to maybe watch it and then close it. Sometimes you don't even go into the email, or you might just go in and delete all of those emails. So in mail now, you might more, pay attention as to who is this one person send me this in mail, and you will more take your time to read this in mail. So what it is that you can elaborate on that, Salina, in terms of the in mail, and then following up with a voice message if you do not get onto the person on a phone call.
Yeah, I think my approach is actually relationship selling. I never really like to slide into someone's DM or emails, like you said, right? To go directly to ask someone to book a call. I think it takes a lot more to it, right? The sales cycle that I talk about. Imagine
Yeah.
all these people that are happen to be your ideal customers, but it never really works when I slide into your DM, right? And like Antonio, like asking, hey, book a free call with me with LinkedIn strategy calls, but
Hmm.
not even reading your profile, what you do, right? I get this all the time. Like, in fact, I got LinkedIn coaches trying to sell me LinkedIn solution, and I was just like, have you even spent time reading my LinkedIn profile, right? So I think there's a lot of due diligence needs to be done before, like
Hmm.
doing emails. But let's say that you already did, but I would still think that the best way of doing so is basically engaging with their content initially to warm that audience up before doing the emails. And this is just how I teach my clients to do that. And once you warm that up, then I think it's a good time to email people. about your solution or introduce about yourself, and not even sending them a Calendarly link yet, unless they say give you a green light, right? Give you a green light, like say,
Yeah.
hey, Salina, I think it's a good time for us to chat, and then you can send your Calendarly, and then that touch point, that audience, that prospect are way warmer than you slide into the DMs and say that, hey, book a free call with me tomorrow. This is how I see it, but I think there's obviously a lot of people disagree with my approach, but I just find this is the most effective way for me and my business, and more effective way to warmer my audience up.
Yes, I agree. And in closing, Selena, I would like to tell all LinkedIn users out there, do not try to sell someone in the first message when the person has accepted your request. That is basically salesy. Get to understand the connection. Go in and do some research, see what industry that they're in, see the content that they're providing. Everything is a process. You have to start from one step, go on to step two and step three. Don't try to just rush the process, because when you do that now, and this person, maybe relate to their friend and say, hey, you see this connection, anytime they send in your connection request, do not accept, because instantly their first message is being salesy. So, in closing, Selena, what would you like to tell the audience? And it was great having this conversation with you, I must say.
Thank you so much, Antonio,
You're
having me as
welcome.
your guest, and it's really fun doing, live show from the other side, because I've been hosting live show for I think a year and a half now, which is
Wow.
crazy. Now that I look back, right? And
Yeah.
I applaud you for continue doing live show, because this is going to be incremental to your business as well as your personal brand. So
Thank
keep
you.
doing that. And I also want to say thank you for the audience for coming to join us. If you're interested to learn more about LinkedIn, I have my own podcast show called Your LinkedIn Gal. And if you are tuning in from your iPhone, you can check it out on Apple. If you're an Android user, you can check it on Spotify or Google Podcasts. It's all there. So pick your favorite podcast platform and check it out, and connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to meet you and get to know you more.
So it was great having you again, Lincoln Gale, and I hope you have a blessed night. And in the future, maybe we could do, our next conversation talking to our audience about LinkedIn, and maybe, the new algorithm, because LinkedIn tends to change your algorithm frequently. So
Yeah, sounds
I
good.
wish you the best and be safe.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Antonio, and wish you a wonderful evening ahead. I think we're in similar time zone.
Yes, thank you, and you have a blessed one.
Thank you. Speak soon. Bye for now.
All right, Lincoln Gale.
Thank you.
All right, bye.